But we lost Norman Lear and recently, and that's not that was rough. I mean, rough not in the sense. I mean, he lived a rich, full life, and the legacy is astonishing, and truly, truly one of the most gifted um, in terms of television and the in sitcoms. He took sitcom to another level completely, and I have a Norman Lear story, as some of you may have heard before, but it was truly incredible. Years ago, I got a phone call when I was living in an apartment where my with the toilet was in its own little space, and then there was the kitchen. In the kitchen, there was a refrigerator, and the refrigerator was right across from the shower. And I always thought that something horrifying could happen. I could electrocute myself, that way. And it was a dump. A dump is being kind. The ceiling was kind of cracked up. If the ceiling had problems, and it was actually there was holes in there were holes in the ceiling. Tell him, Lewis, there were holes in the ceiling, jackass. And I tried to get the landlord didn't fix them. I was not making I was not making a ton of money at the time, but I was becoming known, and I was probably on the Daily Show, and I certainly was, and been doing Conan, so there was a certain amount of notoriety at that point, and the phone rang, and I picked it up, and I heard the voice, and it's that iconic voice he has as soon as I heard it, I knew it was, my God, it's Norman Lear. And my brain just started clicking. It's Norman Lear, and he's calling me, and this is it. This is it. I'm out of here. I'm looking around this apartment. Bye bye. Goodbye. I'm out of here. Norman Lear's called from the West Coast, and all I have to do is kind of wait here for the offer, and things are going to change. And uh, I'm not. I'm going to pack and get the fuck out of here. And we're going west, like my friend Marklin Baker. Sure and I'm sure there's a part for me. He's calling to give me a role in one of those incredible. This will be the new one. The angry guy, uh, who whatever. I didn't care. I just thought my head was on fire. My brain. Bop, 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 bop. And hi, Lewis. This is Norman Lear. Yes, Mr. Lear. Pleasure to hear from you. Uh, well, I was wondering, and what were you wondering? If you've ever um, done a bar mitzvah, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm not getting, or maybe it's a show about a bar mitzvah. Maybe he wants me to play an angry rabbi. No, it was that his son was being bar mitzvah, and I was his son's favorite comic. And the only gift he thought that would really make his son happy was for me to perform at his bar mitzvah. And I went, sounds good to me. And what do you get for that kind of thing? And I don't really know. I've never done one. But he was very generous, and I was very brokenhearted initially. But I thought I'll get out there. There'll be all of these bigwigs at the bar mitzvah, I'm sure, and one of them will certainly get me a role. And Norman, once he sees the work up close and personal, he'll go, God, I really have to think about putting him into a show. And I, of course, didn't, because it was just starting to get off the ground. I didn't really go, well, take him aside and go, I've got an idea. I had no idea. I was overwhelmed. It's Norman Lear. And, what I'm going to give him an idea. And I was hoping he would give me an idea. So it was a joy to have spent that time with him, that bar mitzvah was very funny. It was all the kids were in front of me and all the adults were on the side. And I did the show for those kids. And, uh, and what would be kind of what considered a tough situation was terrific. And it was a joy and it was a pleasure. And I got to spend some uh, time with him just before he passed, really. And that was, we had an incredible conversation. And he requested this. He called and wanted to see me, and it made me, if look, you don't get the, you don't get the pilot, Lewis. You get to spend time with one of the great minds and great people that you're ever going to see. That really you don't, that you're ever going to meet. And it was good. I saw him another time here in the city, and I'm glad I spent time with him. It enriched my life, and this did all of his work. And I think, uh, well, it meant a lot to me.